Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Let's get into Happy Time Murders. So Happy Time Murders follows investigator Phil Phillips. He's a former police officer of the LAPD, once partnered with Melissa McCarthy's character. He's on a current investigation to find why someone is blackmailing one of his clients. In the middle of this, castmates from an old sitcom called the Happy Time Gang start getting killed off one by one. Investigator Phillips gets caught in the middle of all this, re-teams up with his partner Melissa McCarthy, and tries to solve the Happy Time Murders. And that's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler for your review. I'm just gonna tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with the rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and giving you a final ranking. Okay, Happy Time Murders. If you follow my channel, and very little people do, you'll at least know I made a video when the first trailer came out that I was not happy with it, that I was pretty repulsed by it, not just by the vulgar content, but just because the film wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And not that I'm special and every movie needs to be the way I think it is, but looking from the concept art and the way they describe this movie, the trailer was nothing like what this movie was going to be to us. I thought it was going to be a noir, I thought it was going to be a dark comedy, and rated R puppets, that seemed something awesome and I was really looking forward to it, but the trailer disappointed me and everything else after that just looks like vulgar for the sake of being vulgar. Hey, whatever, I mean, everyone's cup of tea is something, right? But I put all that stuff aside when I sat down to watch this movie because I gotta go in with a clean slate because I'm a good guy. At least that's what I think. And let me go into some of the positives. I'll actually say when Melissa McCarthy is in an R-rated movie, I think she performs at her best. When she is limited to PG-13 comedies, she turns into that whack ball. I'm a big lady, so I fumble over everything, I goof around. It's the same sort of shtick she does in all her movies. But in this film, I actually really liked her. I think that she was brought out in her element, and when she's not given a limit, she can really exceed in comedy, and I found her to be quite enjoyable in this film. I enjoyed her character, I enjoyed her quick whips. Along with that, her relationship with Investigator Phillips, the main puppet in the film, also, their dynamic was really good, really throwback to 80s cop films. They sort of bicker at each other, they have a bit of history, and being that they're former partners, they're a little closer than they'd like to be. And surprisingly, Phillips was also a very enjoyable character. I'd say the most enjoyable character in this movie. Not because he's the funniest, not because he's the jokiest or the dumbest, or what I thought he was going to be, just a douchebag investigator. No, there's actually a little bit of layers to depth to him. He's just a worn out guy who really wanted to be a cop, but something happened, so now he's just a private investigator. And getting involved in these murders and figuring out what it is, there are some hearts to his character, and I mean, call me dumb or looking too hard into it, but I actually enjoyed what was brought to the table with this character. And is the film good for a few laughs? Yeah, I chuckled here and there, I laughed at something insane, and other stuff I did find very vulgar and just unnecessary. But look, that everyone has a different sense of humor, and if you love these trailers and were laughing out loud, the movie's gonna be perfect for you. It only gets more vulgar from there in the actual movie. I will say though, not as much as I thought. From the looks of the trailer, I thought it was gonna be vulgar scene after vulgar scene. I'm saying vulgar too much. There was actually only about 3 grotesque scenes in this film, and after that it was just basic little R-rated humor. Jumping from that to the negatives though, the overall film just doesn't carry enough substance. Yeah, the mystery of who's committing these murders and why is sorta interesting, but as you begin to peel back the layers, it gets kinda repetitive from what we've seen in countless cop murder mystery movies, where everything just sort of has to tie in and be a redemption story for the character. It's very cliche, it's very run-of-the-mill in that aspect, so with that, you're not getting a lot of mystery or a lot of depth into this, but then again, from a movie that has a guy squirting jizz in his trailers, I don't know what you were expecting. And with that said, when the twist is revealed at the end of the film, if you even want to call that a twist, there are other scenes in the movie that just sort of don't make sense, or it's like you just had that so you could have money shots in the trailer. It didn't really add to the overall layer of the film, and character stories that you built up that were actually nicely done and filled with a little bit of heart don't get their ending result towards the end of the film. But look, I enjoyed it for what it was. It's dumb, fun, vulgar, or grotesque comedy. Biggest reason critics are not gonna love this film is just because of the grotesque and some of that dumb humor. These guys are pretentious, like I am sometimes. We all know critics just don't like that kind of stuff, so if you see a really horrible Rotten Tomatoes score, which I am predicting for this film, it's most likely for those reasons. They just don't like that sick, childish, dumb, fun humor. But in the era of Me Too, and where people get fired for saying dumb jokes on Twitter, we kind of need this film and embrace it just a little bit to know jokes are just jokes. Alright, so for action in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. There actually is a pretty interesting fight scene with Melissa McCarthy. Other than that, it's just basic running and shooting. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. There is plenty of vulgar and grotesque comedy to go around, and if you love that, put that to 5 stars for you. If not, there's enough little chuckling to go around. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Not really much to it. It's a basic film filled with a lot of cliches, but you're mostly in it for the jokes. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it half a star. I'm getting a lot of complaints that it's not a horror film, so why are you putting a horror star on it? Doesn't need to be a horror film to get a horror rating. The reason it does though is because the way these puppets are killed, I wouldn't like to be killed that way. Suspense of the film, I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars. There really isn't anything suspenseful in the film. Nothing to keep you guessing. Everything when it's pretty much revealed, you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a C+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a C-. And critically, I'm going to give it an F. For Happy Time Murders, I'm gonna suggest you rent it.
Play the movie.
I found it to be okay and I didn't completely hate it. I still wish they went with that noir type of movie, but hey, maybe next time. But anyways, my name is Chris. Please be sure to follow me at Twitter at 3C Film Review. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share this video, guys. Really appreciate it. But as always, take care.